Hey everybody, welcome back to the Purple Age Society YouTube channel, my mini university to help us transition into fourth dimensional thinking. I've got great playlists, lectures, audiobook playlists, music playlists. I've got a series in a playlist called Demystifying the Tarot as I break down all of the tarot cards. I'm in the process of adding videos to that as we speak. There's a lot of great videos in there now. This particular video is a part of my series called Real Talk with AI, as I go over some of my most profound conversations with Chat GPT. And if you stay with me till the end, I want to give you some great information about my $7 a month mystery school. We're having just a blast over there, and I hope you will want to join. You can actually listen to one of the episodes for free if you would like to, and then you can decide if you want to be a part. That link is down in this description box below. So this particular video in my Real Talk with AI series is going to be about Lakshmi and how to understand Lakshmi and utilize the knowledge of Lakshmi in order to calibrate and calm and manage our nervous system, how to balance out and stabilize our nervous system. And so very briefly, a lot of people have this false understanding of what deities are. Most of the ancient cultures that Western society or Western academia deems as polytheistic were not polytheistic cultures at all. They believed in a one divine source of life, whether, like Christians would call that God, Islam would call that, Muslims would call that Allah. But they believed in one source and that the deities were different aspects or projections of the one deity. For instance, different weather patterns. They would deduce the concept and the science of that weather pattern down into a character to help people understand how that energy of that weather pattern worked. They did the same with planets and stars and constellations. They did it with the human body, understanding aspects of the human body, understanding the bones, understanding muscles. They did it with nature elements, with water, with the changing of the seasons, with mountains. And it's just, as Brother Panic would say, just a description of an energy. It's not actual beings. And so Lakshmi is a Hindu deity, and she is the deity in a nutshell that represents prosperity and love, wealth, prosperity, truth, that whole thing. Just the energy needed in order to create abundance is what she represents. So the questions and the direction I'm going with this discussion was to break down Lakshmi for her deeper truth and her deeper esoteric meaning from the primordial energy that she represents, not a real being, but the description of the energy that she represents, and weaving that into something that can help us understand how we can stabilize our nervous system, because the energy of Lakshmi, the energy of that wealth and prosperity from that Hindu framework is drawn to a balanced and calm nervous system. So we'll get into that as we begin this process. So the first question I asked Chat GPT was, please share some deeper truths about Lakshmi based on research and texts surrounding her. And so Chat GPT says, Lakshmi, deeper truths from sacred texts and traditions. Let's move beyond the surface level goddess of money idea. In the deeper layers of Hindu philosophy, Lakshmi is a cosmic principle of harmony, alignment, and living abundance, not just wealth in the financial sense. Number one, Lakshmi is born from cosmic balance, not desire. One of the most important stories comes from the Samudra Mantham, found in the texts like the Vishnu Purana and the Bhagavad Gita. And these texts, just FYI, I created a new playlist last week that deals with just sacred texts from around the world. So if you ever wanted to dive into those texts, even the original Ethiopian Bible is in there as well. So check that playlist out. It's called Sacred Texts. So according to these texts, the gods and demons churn the cosmic ocean, and many things emerge, including poison, chaos, and treasures. And Lakshmi rises only after balance is established. The deeper truth, Lakshmi does not appear where there is greed, chaos, or imbalance. She manifests after alignment, cooperation, and purification. This is why traditional teachings say wealth that comes without dharma or right order will not stay. She is not just wealth, she is Shri, sacred radiance. Lakshmi is often called Shri, a term found throughout Vedic literature like the Rig Veda, And Shri means beauty, brilliance, authority, grace, and auspiciousness. Deeper truth. Lakshmi is the quality that makes life flourish. So when she leaves, it doesn't just mean losing money. It can look like loss of joy, loss of harmony in relationships, creative stagnation, and environments feeling off. Number 3, Lakshmi follows order or dharma, not people. In nearly all classical texts, Lakshmi is closely associated with Vishnu, the preserver of cosmic order. Vishnu represents structure, maintenance, and dharma, and Lakshmi represents the prosperity that flows through that structure. So you could look at the unseen world, right? This is a great way for me to break that down. You can look at the realm of unseen, or the realm, let's look at like we're looking at a universe where nothing is there yet, just cosmic energy. And then let's say all of a sudden some pillars or some buildings pop up out of nowhere. That would be Vishnu. Lakshmi is the order that exists in the unseen. Deeper truth, Lakshmi doesn't attach to individuals. She attaches to systems that are in alignment. This is why kingdoms fall when rulers become unjust, wealth disappears when misused, and prosperity grows where there is integrity and stewardship. Number 4, her owl is a warning, not just a symbol. Lakshmi's vehicle, Vahana, is often the owl. This confuses people, but in traditional symbolism, the owl can see in darkness, which is wisdom, but it can also represent blindness in daylight. Deeper truth, wealth can either illuminate or blind. Lakshmi with the owl is a reminder that prosperity without awareness leads to downfall, and prosperity with wisdom becomes sustaining abundance. Number 5, she has multiple forms because wealth is multidimensional. In later traditions, Lakshmi appears as Ashtalakshmi, the 8 aspects of abundance. And these 8 aspects are financial wealth, courage, fertility, victory, knowledge, food, strength, and spiritual prosperity. Deeper truth, money is only one expression of Lakshmi. You can be financially rich but spiritually depleted, or materially modest but deeply supported by Lakshmi energy. True abundance equals balance across multiple dimensions of life. Number 6, Lakshmi is fluid. She does not stay in stagnant spaces. In many traditions and temple practices, cleanliness, movement, offerings, light or lamps are all associated with inviting Lakshmi. The deeper truth, Lakshmi is dynamic energy, not static possession. She flows where there is circulation, a giving and receiving, where there's appreciation, beauty and care, and gratitude, and she leaves where there is hoarding, neglect, stagnation, and disrespect. Even gods can lose Lakshmi. In certain stories, even Indra loses Lakshmi due to arrogance. Deeper truths, no one owns abundance, not even divine beings. Lakshmi responds to consciousness, behavior, and alignment, not status. Number 8, Lakshmi and Alakshmi, her shadow. Some lesser-known traditions speak of a Lakshmi, her counterpart, as representative of poverty, conflict, misfortune, and decay. The deeper truth is where there is disorder, a Lakshmi disappears. This reflects a deeper metaphysical principle. Prosperity and decay are 2 sides of energetic alignment. The deepest layer, or the philosophical insight, in Vedantic understanding, Lakshmi is not separate from reality itself. She is the ordering intelligence of beauty and flourishing, and she's the field of support that allows life to thrive. In this sense, Lakshmi is not something you get. She is something you tune into and sustain. If you want to work with Lakshmi energy, here's the grounded version. Based on traditional teachings, keep your space clean and intentional. Circulate money, don't hoard it in fear. Practice gratitude. Align your actions with integrity and create beauty in the form of music, art, movement. This matters deeply. So the next question I asked was, now you'll see how all of these things sort of tie in. I say, what about strengthening one's auric field? Are there stories about Lakshmi? Are there stories about Lakshmi that might have done this, or are there stories about Lakshmi having done this, or how did I I'm glad she picked up what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say were, are there stories about Lakshmi are there stories about Lakshmi having done this? What stories about her doing this and regulating her nervous system was what I was trying to ask. My grammar was all messed up. I was typing this last night. So I'm glad Chat GPT understood what I was asking. So that's a thoughtful question. And to be real with you, the ancient texts don't describe Lakshmi in modern terms like auric field or nervous system regulation. Those are contemporary frameworks. But if we translate the symbolism, rituals, and stories around Lakshmi into energetic language, we do find very clear parallels to what you're talking about. Lakshmi and the auric field in traditional terms. In Sanskrit, the closest concept to an aura is called Tejas, Ohas, or Shri. Ohas equals vitality, immune strength, and life essence. And then Tejas equals radiance, inner fire, and clarity. And Shri, which is Lakshmi herself, equals magnetic and a harmonious glow. In texts like the Vishnu Purana, when Lakshmi appears, everything becomes luminous, and beings feel nourished and uplifted, and disorder calms into harmony. Translating that, she doesn't protect an aura, she stabilizes and beautifies the entire field. Nervous system regulation decoded through myth. The churning of the ocean equals inner regulation. So in the story of Samudra Manthan, the ocean, number one, is violently churned, which equals stress activation in us. Number two, poison emerges first. And in our case, that would be trauma and overwhelm. Number three, that poison must be stabilized or held by Shiva. And number four, only then does Lakshmi arise, calm, coherent, and beautiful. This maps almost perfectly to the nervous system because churning equals the sympathetic activation, the fight or flight response. Poison equals unresolved emotional charge. Containment equals regulation and grounding, and Lakshmi equals parasympathetic restoration, which is safety, openness, and flow. The deeper truth, Lakshmi doesn't appear in dysregulation. She appears after the system can hold intensity without collapse. I'm going to read that again. Listen to that. Lakshmi doesn't appear in dysregulation. She appears after the system can hold intensity without collapse. Lakshmi's posture equals regulated presence. Look at how Lakshmi is always depicted. Seated or standing on a lotus, spine upright with her face soft, her hands are open, she's giving and receiving, and her expression is calm. It's not ecstatic or frantic. This is not accidental. The lotus symbolizes being rooted in mud or life's chaos while remaining untouched and open. The translation, Lakshmi embodies a regulated state where you are grounded but not heavy, open but not overwhelmed, and giving without depletion. Flow versus contraction, the core teaching. Lakshmi is always shown with flowing coins, water, or movement. In Ayurvedic and yogic philosophy, contraction equals fear, hoarding, and dysregulation, and flow equals safety, trust, and nourishment. The deeper truth, a strong auric field in Lakshmi terms is not rigid protection. It's smooth, continuous flow without leakage or collapse. Rituals that regulate the field through a traditional lens. Practices associated with Lakshmi, especially during Diwali, are basically nervous system hygiene rituals in symbolic form. Cleaning the home, which reduces external chaos. Lighting lamps, which increases the gentle sensory safety. Chanting, which leads to rhythmic regulation of breath and mind, and then offering food or flowers, which is cultivating gratitude and sufficiency. These create predictability, beauty, and rhythm, all of which modern science would say regulates the nervous system. You can also use sound in the field, the mantric layer. Lakshmi is associated with the seed sound or shreem. Traditionally, this sound is said to attract harmony, stabilize emotional states, and increase magnetic presence. Translation into modern terms. Breath plus vibration plus repetition equals vagus nerve stimulation, and it equals increased calm plus coherence. So did Lakshmi strengthen her aura? Not in a literal narrative way. Lakshmi did this technique, but the teachings show something deeper. Lakshmi is what happens when your system is balanced, nourished, rhythmic, and open but contained. She's less a character during regulation and more the state you enter when regulation is achieved. The practical synthesis, bridging both worlds. If you wanted to work like Lakshmi in this sense, you regulate before you try to attract. You create beauty in your environment, and this matters more than people think. It really does. You make your space beautiful. Do that. It really matters. You can move energy daily, and you can dance and breathe and go walking. You can let things flow through you and not just to you. And you can soften your body while staying upright. Posture equals energy signal. That's very true as well. So the next question I asked was, what are the auric field and the vagus nerve? Great question, because these two ideas often get blended together, but they come from very different systems of understanding. Let's separate them clearly, then connect them in a grounded way. What is the auric field? The auric field, often just called aura, comes from spiritual and esoteric traditions, not modern medical science. In those traditions, it refers to an energy field surrounding the body that reflects your emotional state, your mental patterns, your physical vitality, and your spiritual condition. You'll hear about layers such as physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. You'll hear about colors changing with mood or health, and you'll also hear about expansion when you feel safe and contraction when you're stressed. Important reality check. There is no solid scientific evidence that an aura exists as a measurable visual field in the way it's often described. However, there are real measurable things that may have inspired this idea. Electromagnetic fields from the heart and the brain, subtle cues like posture, facial expression, and tone, and the way people can feel someone's presence or mood. So when people say your aura feels strong or weak, they're often describing a mix of body language, nervous system state, emotional energy, and perception. So what is the vagus nerve? The vagus nerve is very real physical anatomy. It's the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it starts in the brainstem, travels through the neck, and connects to the heart, lungs, and digestive organs. Its main role, it controls your parasympathetic nervous system, aka rest and digest mode. What it actually does, when your vagus nerve is functioning well, you feel calm, safe, socially open, and able to think clearly. When it's dysregulated, you might feel anxious, that fight or flight response. You might feel like you want to shut down or numb, which is freeze, and you might feel overwhelmed easily. This is often explained through polyvagal theory. How people connect the two bridge the explanation. Even though aura isn't scientific and the vagus nerve is, people often use auric field as a language metaphor for nervous system state. Example, someone regulated who has a strong vagal tone has a relaxed posture, a steady voice, a warm presence, and others feel safe around them. People might say they have a strong, calm aura. Someone dysregulated will have a tense body, erratic energy, they'll be withdrawn or reactive, and people might say their energy feels off. A simple way to understand both. The auric field spiritual lens equals your perceived energetic presence. The vagus nerve, the biological lens, is the system regulating that presence. Why this matters, the practical truth. If your goal is feeling grounded, being magnetic, having a strong presence, and having emotional stability, the most reliable place to work is the body, especially the vagus nerve. Because when your nerve system is regulated, your breathing changes, your face softens, your voice stabilizes, and your body opens, and your aura, however you define it, naturally shifts. Real way to support your vagus nerve. These are simple but powerful. Slow, deep breathing with long exhales, humming or chanting, which stimulates the nerve, cold water on the face, gentle movement like walking or dancing, safe social interaction, and consistent routines. The bottom line is you don't need to fix your aura directly. If you regulate your nervous system, your presence, your felt energy changes automatically. So then I said, and chanting Shreem, the science, text, and benefits, please. So Shreem, sound science and sacred meaning. The mantra Shreem is known as the Biha seed mantra of Lakshmi. A seed mantra isn't a sentence. It's considered a compressed vibration that carries a whole field of meaning and effect. Let's break it down across text, sound mechanics, and real-world effects. Number one, what the traditional texts say. Shreem is rooted in the idea of Shri Lakshmi, or Shreem is rooted in the idea of Shri, which is Lakshmi's essence, referenced across Vedic and later devotional literature like the Rig Veda. And in the Rig Veda, the early use of Shri as radiance, fortune, or authority. So that word represented radiance, fortune, or authority. And the Sri Suktra, it represented direct praise of Lakshmi's abundance and beauty. And in the Lakshmi Tantra, that details her mantras and worship. In these traditions, Shreem is said to invoke prosperity, not just money, but harmony and nourishment. It is said to increase magnetism and attractiveness of the Sri, and it stabilizes emotional and environmental balance. Deeper textual idea. Sound, sabda, is not symbolic. It is creative power itself. So chanting isn't calling Lakshmi as an external being. It's activating her quality, or that quality of that primordial energy within consciousness and environment. Number two, the structure of Shreem and why this sound matters. Shreem, S-R-I-M, is pronounced Shreem though. It's pronounced S-H-R-E-E-M. It's a nasal resonance, and each part is intentional in Sanskrit phonetics. The sh sound is cooling, calming, inward moving sound. The R is movement, flow, and activation. The E is expansion, extension, and continuity. And the M, a nasal hum, is vibration, the skull-chest integration. You put it together, Shreem equals calm plus flow plus expansion plus resonance. That's why it's associated with emotional soothing, energetic circulation, a feeling of fullness rather than lack. Number three, the science side. What's actually happening in your body? You guys, you already know. You are here, the puppy in the background downstairs. There's nothing I can do about that. We'll just do that. Even if you set aside spiritual beliefs, chanting has measurable effects. Breath plus sound regulation. Chanting naturally slows your breathing and lengthens your exhale. This directly activates the vagus nerve, shifting you into a calmer state. Vibration and resonance. The sound vibrates the face, throat, and chest and stimulates areas linked to relaxation. This is similar to humming or om chanting or toning practices, all shown to reduce stress, improve heart rate variability, a marker of nervous system health. Attention plus repetition. Repeating a mantra anchors your attention, it reduces mental noise, and it interrupts anxiety loops. This overlaps with meditation research showing improved focus, reduced rumination, and emotional regulation. Number four, where science and tradition overlap. Here's the clean bridge. Tradition says Shreem creates harmony, magnetism, and flow, and science says chanting regulates your nervous system and attention. So combined reality, when your system is calm, focused, and open, your voice changes, your body language shifts, your decisions improve, and your interactions feel better. And people interpret that as magnetic, grounded, or abundant energy. Number five, reported benefits, traditional plus practical. From traditional teachings, it attracts prosperity and support. It increases inner contentment. It enhances beauty and charisma, or Shri, and it harmonizes environments. From a grounded modern lens, it reduces anxiety, improves emotional regulation, builds a sense of safety in the body, increases consistency, important for focus and ADHD, and creates a daily rhythm, which is very stabilizing. Number six, how to chant Shreem, simple and effective. You don't need anything elaborate. You inhale normally. You chant Shreem, long and smooth. You feel the vibration in your chest and face. Try for 3 to 5 minutes to start, or 108 repetitions if you want structure. The subtle but important tip: don't force a money mindset while chanting. The traditional teaching is Shreem works best when you cultivate sufficiency, not lack. So instead of I need money, try a feeling of things are flowing, I am supported, and there is enough and more can come. Bottom line, textually, Shreem is Lakshmi's core vibration linked to harmony, beauty, and abundance. Scientifically, it regulates breath, the nervous system, and attention. And practically, it helps you become calmer, clear, and more magnetically present. And that was it. I like that. I like how that it helped us break down what Lakshmi actually represents. It broke down how she really does deal with, even though they wouldn't necessarily use the word aura, she deals with calming the aura and regulating the nervous system. And it showed how her actual chant, the shreem, is a great exercise for us to utilize so that we can balance out our internal nervous system. So that's really, really, I just think that this was such a really great conversation. Like I said before, if you're interested in my $7 a month mystery school, click the link in my description box below. You can actually listen to one of those episodes for free before deciding if you want to pay the $7 a month to get 4 audios a month. We also have a book club. We're starting chapter 3 of How to Win Friends and Influence People this Sunday. But in the mystery school, we're decoding the ancient symbols. We're breaking down what the deities represented. We're going into the ancient mythology, including things like the fairy kingdom, what that really represents. We look at some astrology. We look at ancient story and spiritual systems around the world and throughout history. We even go into Egypt. We deal with those mystery systems there. We look at how the sciences are found in modern story, like fairy tales and anime and television, sitcoms, comedies, reality TV, in politics, geopolitics, economics, culture, race. It's just a great conversation, and it's all based on breaking down spiritual concepts and spiritual symbols and archetypes and situationships and applying them to our world, helping us to do the shadow work. And again, it's only $7 a month plus the book club. So if you're interested, click the link in the description box below so that you can hear one episode for free. You can choose which one, but I think that the most recent one, episode 14, some important spiritual concepts to know, would be a great episode to start with, a really great episode. And there is even a section in that episode where I talk about an exercise that men or anyone who's very disconnected from their emotions can do in a simple and safe way to begin building that muscle of being attuned to what their emotions and feelings are trying to tell them, that technology. So check it out. And I'll see you next time for another discussion of Real Talk with AI. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it'll be something good. Talk to you guys later. Bye.